Hi, gamers. Welcome to Thursday, the 20th. You know, the Simpsons image that everyone posts when it's Thursday the 20th? It's like that. Anyway, we're gonna test TF2 maps, because that's what I do on Thursday, as always. While we wait for people to fill up the server, I'm playing Koth Gold Stash 2025 by Zythe. Because yes. Are we going to be harassed by the duelers? No, because allegedly, Valve has implemented a fix for that. Shoutouts to Valve. And let me see. CL notifications show in-game 0. And we'll see if I get spammed with it. Let's do TV record gold. What the fuck was the name of this map? Gold Stash. I have severe memory issues, I think. Anyway, we'll see. Hi, Aimboat. I've got some maps to test. I was submitted a thing by Lizard, Zythe, and August 101. So, we will play the video game, and we will see what happens. The update that we got is kind of crazy. I am very, very excited to see, you know, kind of how it affects things. I think one of my favorite features is, well, obviously SDR being enabled by default and it being backported to, like, Counter-Strike Source and Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, and Counter-Strike Source getting V-Script, and all that stuff. But, like, the light map stuff is amazing.
The control point is being contested.
Like, I need to find a place to demonstrate that. Also, I will add Lizard to voice in a second, because I think that would be good. Our light map by Cubic. That's kind of like a soft shadow, it's not a good example. Whatever, I'll find a better example later. They also did it for Half-Life Deathmatch Source for some reason. I thought that game was, like, discontinued. Like, I thought Half-Life Source in general was, they just got rid of that, but I guess not. Alright, we shall see. Do I have my volume set high? No, I think my computer's volume is just high. That's probably what it is. Hello, Choo Choo Power. Welcome to the zone. Yeah, I'm surprised by, like, all of the updates to everything that they've done. Like, even though it's been this long, Valve is still, like, supporting their stuff, and that's kind of cool. Even though Mac support is just kind of dead. Although that seems to be the norm for a lot of products for some reason. Like, I guess there was a big push in, like, the 2000s to, like, support Mac for things, and TF2 was one of the things that got it, and then a bunch of Valve products also supported Mac. But then 64-bit stuff happened, and now Mac builds are just gone. A lot of other software is a similar way. I guess Apple Silicon is a reason, but still. They also discontinued 32-bit support, just in general, a while ago. What do I think the SDK release will mean for TF2? Well, I think the biggest thing that it will mean, like, immediately is Open Fortress and TF2 Classic potentially releasing on Steam. Which is a long time coming. Oh, hello, Lizard.
They will be able to get ported. I would say around a year. Just an educated guess. I would, like,
reasonable.
I would expect that the deathmatch of Open Fortress could be ported faster if they would do the CS2 thing and temporarily abandon the features which are not seeing much use. So if Open Fortress would focus just on deathmatch, they could probably port it this year.
Did you see the like crazy number of pull requests that got opened like right after the
Yeah.
code release? That's insane.
Speaking of what it means for live TF2, it's possible that they will add code contributions to live TF2.
Like they said they would do forever ago.
Yeah.
I hope so. At least the legality is no longer questionable.
Yeah, it is currently on us, on the community, to make pull requests which are actually professional and decent and worth being added. Valve are probably going to test waters with how this works. The idea of adding community code inside the game itself. The thing is, like, if Valve add a broken V script, then that script will be contained inside the map,
Right.
but broken code inside the main game itself can crash the game itself.
Yeah, that's a way bigger issue. So I can see why they went with VScript. Honestly, that was like a super long time coming, considering that like Counter-Strike and Left 4 Dead and all those other games had it for so long.
Yeah, I hope to send Valve a couple, like, Valve hold on, English is hard. There is a file where Valve describe how they would like to see contributions being submitted, and Valve insist on them being very small and granular. And it makes sense because a change that is only 3 lines big is easier to check for Valve than something like the 11th class.
I'm already excited to see something in, like, one of the things I've been most excited for like, contributions has been just optimization and bug fixes. Because it's easier to get excited about small things like that than it is for, like, new weapons and rebalancing, because as the years have gone on, it's been increasingly clear that stuff like that isn't gonna happen. And now that we have the code, and it's, like, legal to do that kind of thing, Team Comtress 2 is back, so Master Comms is working on, you know, testing that kind of stuff again. So that's exciting.
Yeah. There is 2 things which I really hope Valve will add. One thing is increases the maximum possible speed.
It's capped
the
for some
maximum
reason.
running speed. Yes. So there is no way in game to run at speeds faster than Scout under Babyface's blast.
Remember in Jungle Inferno when they changed the fall damage sound for some reason?
They did that?
Yeah, they changed it to like a bone crunching sound. In this update, they changed the sound that it makes when you fall into water in this similar fashion.
I'm sorry, I took your health kit. Clogs pork.
Hey, you, Rob. Like, this is the sound that it used to make back when the game first came out, I think. Turn that up slightly.
Another change that is going to be another change that will be proposed is bunny hop.
Oh, like
Not by default, but
command
an
for
optional feature. Yes, an optional feature you can enable.
Could be fun for like a custom game mode or something.
Yeah,
or like for community servers.
We were discussing the idea of having that not as a global variable, but as a buff you can give to individual players. But here's a trade-off. You could have a simple system that works and is more likely to be introduced by Valve, accepted by Valve. And if we make it more complicated, more complex, it will be less likely to get accepted.
Would it be possible with source code to have custom UI directly in the workshop? I don't think the source code could correlate to anything with, like, workshop submissions directly. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, technically you could say, like, here's my workshop submission, it's this code, add this to the game, please. But I don't see it as being very likely. Like, it would technically be something like a community fix, which historically they have not implemented very many.
Yeah, unfortunately, you cannot pack a C++ file into your map and expect it to work.
Yeah, definitely not. And plus those need to be compiled. With VScript, that kind of stuff gets compiled at runtime.
Alert. The control
Alright,
point
after
is
this
being-
round, I will switch.
Alert. The control point is being captured. Alert. The
I don't even know what that sound was.
Unfortunately, going back to SDK release, it's probably not going to revolutionize TF2 because people are going to play the main game, TF2C, and maybe Open Fortress. The other mods which will pop up as the result of the SDK are probably not going to gain any player base.
No, fuck you, Dan. Fuck you. Fuck you!
We have lost control point.
Happened to my equips.
This is why mom doesn't fucking love you.
The most exciting thing for me is just the update itself. Like, I love maintenance. It's the only thing this game gets, and I like when it happens. It's not necessarily about, like, the cosmetic case or the maps or whatever. I like the technical fixes.
TF2 could really use a UX update.
Absolutely.
A better tutorial, better starting settings and stuff like that.
I'd also argue they should get rid of matchmaking, but that's an entirely different thing.
We have secured the control point.
Another 5 class tutorials would be great. I think they should fix the ones that they already have and then add more.
I'm not I think
The control point is being
I think the tutorials we have are just fundamentally wrong. They teach the wrong things. And it's hard to explain why. Actually, the thing is that let's take Dota as an example. I don't remember if they have a real tutorial, but they have basically an easy mode. The mode that has less characters, less mechanics, and less stuff like that. But I'm not sure how TF2 could ever have that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem feasible.
Actually, like, let's say they would add a game mode where only stock weapons exist. I don't think enough players would play that to make that game mode viable.
Oh no.
Oh shit, who did I get?
Oh god. Maybe if I didn't air blast, I would have got it. They don't teach any of the actual utility and have things like focusing on pipe rollers that don't have much use in a real game. There's also positioning, which you can't really teach.
The way the way the learning curve works in other games is that you are matched against equally novice opponents. So nobody knows what they're doing, and as I've said, in games like Dota, there are game modes with less characters. So it is relatively easy to perform somewhat successfully
60 seconds.
in your first matches. With TF2, that's not really an option. You'll be thrown on a random server with random players, which play whatever game modes happen to be played, and with whatever weapons enemies and teammates happen to have.
Mission ends in
Miss
30
Pauling's
seconds.
single-player game that's secretly a tutorial for every weapon in the game. That would be just a whole nother set of work.
I think Call of Duty does that, where the single player campaign is basically a tutorial for the multiplayer.
We have to secure the control point.
It's so difficult to suggest, like, solutions to issues that TF2 has without, like, there needing to be work done on Valve's end, because anything that requires, like, more than 5 to 10 minutes is just impossible.
Well, ironically, matchmaking that works would be a solution, because then, even if you do not know what you're doing, you would be playing with and against people who also don't know what they are doing. But the TF2 online figures are not big enough for the skill-based matchmaking to work.
Merry Christmas, Evia. Have a nice bed. Yeah, trying to do skill-based matchmaking for a game like this just is next to impossible.
On the left, bro, on the left.
See, you, even if you cannot measure skill properly, at least you could. There is still some data you can extract from pure hours played.
That's true.
Like if you somehow know that someone is not playing from the second or third account, like this is a new player, you can presume that for the first 50 hours they will not know much about the game, and you can put them in the noob pool.
Competition begins in 30
So it's not really to balance teams out in the long run, but just to make the first hours of your playtime somewhat bearable.
Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
The thing is, about skill, why people hate skill-based matchmaking? Because I remember there was someone at GDC explaining this. The matches feel fair when you win 70% of the time. Obviously, skill-based matchmaking is not going to deliver on that. Like, for example, as an experienced TF2 player, I could go to casual, which is going to be an easier time, or I could go to Uncle Topia, which is going to be harder time, because the players there are way more experienced. In a way, I have difficulty options in TF2, but this is not an option in matchmaking games.
3, 2, 1.
I thought there would be a sentry there.
One of the reasons, how to explain it? The reason TF2 is such a casual game, not like in a broader sense, is because like losing in TF2 is not as punishing as in other games, simply because you are still able to play even if you are on the losing team.
Yeah, there's still stuff to do.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
unless it's a total stomp.
Yeah, exactly. And in other games, like in Counter-Strike or in Dota, if you're losing at all, it is going to quickly devolve into a stomp by design. Like, if in Counter-Strike, you're playing 5v5 and you are on the shorter end of the skill curve, like your team is weaker and you are on the attack. So, you will immediately lose one or two players, and on top of the skill difference, you will also have to deal with the numbers difference. So the game asks you to win in unbalanced conditions while also being worse at the game than your opponents.
Gangrene also brought up that it's also 12v12. Having a lot of players is also a big thing.
Yeah.
Individual performance matters not as much.
TF2 strikes a good balance where you can win alone, you can carry around, but you cannot ruin around. Nobody will mind if you are playing Trojan. Because, as I've mentioned earlier, the fact that I am playing Trojan will not make your game any worse.
Now, someone in chat mentioned earlier that they tried to play competitive. I assume it's the in-game one, and they tried queuing, couldn't even find a match. What year was that? Because I think the last time I played a match was like 2018, and I have never even tried queuing since then. Meet Your Match was like 2014? Nah, that was 2016. Basically, it's years ago, maybe as soon as Jungle Inferno came out. And they kept working on that, too. They tried so hard to make that work.
Well, he's so freaking
Did they?
chaotic, bro.
Because, like,
Well, I mean, they made it look pretty. It's definitely rushed. But then
Yeah,
they
I
didn't put
feel
in enough to make sure competitive players that already existed were satisfied. And that's probably why it failed.
I am having a hard time. Like, I was about to make an argument that if Valve would cook until it is good, they could make this competitive casual thing work. But I'm not sure if this is even possible. But regardless of that, the system we've got was definitely rushed.
Thanks, mate. Bloody spy! We did it, mate. Oh! Thanks, mate.
Speaking of trickle-down balance, see, I think, like, the idea that a weapon designed for competitive will likely be fine in casual, I think that part works, but you are missing on a large base of game design opportunities that way.
I feel so bad fighting you because I know about, like, the huge ping disadvantage. Oh, I'm stuck in the spy.
The cut. Oh!
In retrospect, there are definitely games which are extremely popular, but not esports. So, esports is just a way, one of many, to make a
Yeah.
game popular.
It just seems like the one that most companies latched onto. At least recently. Recently, as in, like, last decade plus.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, esports is just the organic money, like you see with traditional sports, just isn't there. The interest from the viewers is not enough to sustain the thing without very questionable sponsors. Like, you will not see Coca-Cola in the sponsors of a esports tournament.
Weren't there, like, gambling sponsors in a Counter-Strike tournament?
Yeah, haven't you heard? One of the gambling websites was basically blackmailing the tournaments.
I did hear about
Because
that in the CopyZilla video.
yeah, but yeah, that all points to the problem that there is not enough legit sponsors in the market,
It's kind of
and
ridiculous.
and there isn't enough because there isn't enough people to advertise to.
I just spent all that time upgrading that teleporter, and I was standing on it like, oh, now I'll teleport instantly. But I forgot that I was upgrading it before it was fully built. Sorry, I never made an exit. No, that's not your fault. I was just upgrading it to be nice, and I forgot because my short-term memory is really bad.
Bloody stop! The car's moving back, lads!
Okay, the sentry... Oh, I thought there was one, like, right there. I'm honestly surprised my server hasn't crashed. I was fully expecting source mod to just, like, break. God, shoutouts to all the people working on source mod. I'm probably gonna donate after stream is over. Like, considering I've been using it for so long, it's about time.
Thanks, lads!
That's a problem. There we go.
That'll teach him!
Source mod team clutch to get Lo-Fi's birthday game day working. Well, I mean, you can still run a server without source mod. You're just severely limited in the number of moderation tools that you have at your disposal. Like, Valve servers don't have source mod, but that's kind of like cheating because they have their own tools that we don't have access to. Also, Skyle, I think, has like their own stuff that they don't contribute.
You could, in theory, make quite a lot of the admin tools with vscript.
That is true. Like, you made the, no souls thing and the no truce thing with vscript. Like, you don't need source mod for that, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah. This is definitely one of the selling points of using vscript as an not to be packed into maps, but basically as a server plugin. Is that it will never break, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's the big, big ask. But I don't think
Well,
it's too
no.
unreasonable, because I don't think
Yeah,
I've seen a case of vscript breaking yet. I mean, it hasn't
Well,
been
it's
that long,
relatively young,
so time will
but
tell.
it's something Valve will like. They will actively try to maintain backwards compatibility. That's something they are doing, but when it comes to source mod, Valve just can't maintain backwards compatibility.
Yeah, it's not really their fault. I was in the source mod Discord just like kind of looking at the state of things, and there were so many fucking people joining and being like, hey, my shit doesn't work, fix it, help, help. And like being
Yeah.
like mad and complaining, and like Valve made the worst update ever. Like, bro, they don't like you're using an unsupported add-on. Like, it's your fault, dude. Just give the developers time. Everyone's so
15
fucking
years
entitled.
later.
It's insane.
15 years later and things are still the same.
Yep.
I remember when I was hosting the very first VSH server when it was brand new. I mean the plugin VSH back in 2009. People were yelling at me that VSH has stopped working when a new update came out.
Oh my god.
At one point,
It's like everyone thinks that they're the first to know or something.
I mean, yeah, but I would. While it is annoying when a dozen people tell you the same thing, I will not be angry at anyone because I would rather have 10 people say something to me than 0.
Spy around here.
Like, being alerted for something, like, that's one thing, that's fine. But then people being mad that, like, something doesn't work immediately is a totally different thing. What makes me irrationally angry, and I will agree, it's totally irrational, is when people, like, join a server to see, like, what's up. Like, they go out of their way, right? To join a server and figure out what's wrong because the info isn't super public. But instead of reading about it, like scrolling up ever so slightly because people are already talking a lot about it, they send a message and they like ping staff or whatever and they're like, hey, why doesn't this work? That's what makes me mad. Like, even if I'm not the one being pinged, like, you're taking away like development resources or whatever just to be like, my shit doesn't work, even if it is already well known.
Yeah, that's why I usually try to make my creations, like VSH, VIP, etc., idiot-proof. But unfortunately, the way the game and the tools work, they do not allow me to make things easy to, like, not easy to understand, but not require understanding. Because unfortunately the way people work is that people will fail to understand what the tutorial is trying to tell them. So yeah, ideally you want to just not require people to do any extra steps, but as I've mentioned, the environment I have to deal with doesn't allow that.
I used to be all about, like, trying to help people even if people, like, don't understand the most basic stuff. I go over every minute detail or whatever. But nowadays, I just can't be asked. It's so bad. My patience has become horribly thin. Oh, get him off the cart. No, the medic! Having to deal with the same or similar problem quickly becomes annoying as fuck. God bless retail workers. Amen. I can't imagine being asked like a million times a day, like, hey, where's the bread, you know? When there's like a big fucking sign that says bread. Like, people just need to learn how to fucking read. I deliberately go out of my way to avoid social interaction wherever possible. I'm the most anxiety-ridden motherfucker on the planet, I think.
It's so sad, going back to TF2 district, etc., that you you are not allowed to make any client-side code.
Yeah, that is really sad because you can't do any like prediction or
Yeah, you cannot
whatever.
do movement prediction.
I was talking to
you
someone about
cannot
that the other
do
day.
UI.
I was trying to explain that like they weren't convinced that the SDK was like meaningful at all because they were like, oh, we already have plugins and whatever. And then I was trying to tell them that like, yeah, but plugins, everything feels like shit because you can't do client-side prediction and everything feels like shit.
The issue is that like each SDK, each mod requires like I don't think many mods will have any significant player base.
Yeah, that's the
As I
problem.
mean, so in that regard, unfortunately, SDK will mean less than one would think.
Like, there's already gonna be a very small minority of people that are gonna play TF2 mods, right? So then each
Yeah.
mod that releases is gonna fragment it even further.
So we have live TF2, we have TF2C, and we have Open Fortress, and even then, Open Fortress just barely has enough players, I think. Like, barely enough for comfortable play. I shouldn't undersell Open Fortress.
I played it, like, a ton for a couple days, and then I just kind of dropped it. I hosted a server for a little while, because there weren't that many. It was a pain in the ass trying to figure that out, because there was, like, no documentation. Open Fortress mainly suffers from high technical skill and also lack of marketing. Well, it is kind of just like a DM fest, right? But that's kind of what it's meant to be. I don't think it's trying to be anything else. The lack of marketing thing could be resolved, though. Motherfucker, he got away. There we go. And now they're all here. I'm gonna get fucking sniped or something. No! I feel like I was personally responsible for that. It's an Octoblitz hot take, but while Pre-Fortress and TF2C have SFMs and open convos, quite often of new features and maps, Open Fortress just doesn't have that. You have to learn everything secondhand. Not quite
You know
sure
what
I
you also
understand.
have to learn secondhand?
What's that?
The main game.
That's true. That is true. Okay.
I believe that TF2 could really use a lot more marketing, and then the game would be much more successful. For example, the update which brought us versus Saxon Hail could easily be packaged as a major update. You just needed to have an update page and maybe an SFM. Same with the zombie infection update. I mean, Valve were able to make a major update out of a Halloween reskin of Hightower.
Five, four, three, two, one. Mission begins in 60 seconds. Now.
Why market a game you aren't actively making yourself?
Well, even if Valve don't add
Still
like,
does make money.
it is still playable. Like, it is still a playable game, even if it. I was about to say even if it doesn't receive content, but
Especially
it does,
now without the
quite a
bots.
lot.
Mission begins
Like,
in 30 seconds.
the two problems TF2 needs to solve is UX for the new coming players, so that they would not, so that the people would actually stick with the game, and marketing, so that more people would hear about the game, not just know that TF2 exists, but so that TF2 always would be on the news and appear like a game that actually exists. For example, when TF2 SDK went public, it was like it did reach the wider audience. It was yet another reminder to the wider internet that TF2 exists and it is alive.
TF2 constantly is in the news when things happen too. Like, people do know about it, they're just not playing it.
With a few exceptions, those news were mostly bad.
Yeah, that's true. And
That's
necrodamus.
why, by the way, that's the reason why the first save, the what was the first save TF2 was quote
That's a
unquote
spy.
toxically positive, because if you have too many bad news, then if you talk too much about the bad, you stop seeing the good.
Not a spy, okay.
I'm. Can you explain me one thing? It's something I do not understand. Why people think that the release of the SDK necessarily means that Valve are not going to make any updates to Live TF2?
I mean, Live TF2 has essentially had nothing since Jungle Inferno. It's been just packs of, you know, cases and maybe maps. And I assume we're gonna continue getting that still. That's not tough to implement at all. people are probably just looking for any excuse to bring more news
Doom?
out, I guess. That's a spy.
I am a bit confused as to like what people want from TF2 updates. I understand the balance changes, but like that's not really a major thing. That's not really a thing that promotes an update to a major one.
Hey Yakov, what's up?
It would be cool to have new weapons, sure, but you cannot add you cannot have new weapons every single update. This
Yeah, especially
doesn't
not
scale
now.
well.
Dude, I thought we had enough weapons back in, like, 2015. And then they added all the pyro stuff. I mean,
think
most of
it's
that was
a
bad, but
problem
still.
basically. Here's a problem that basically any long living life service gets is that the current players demand more content, but not all of that content is scalable in the bigger picture. And while maps are somewhat scalable, and huts and unusuals are also somewhat scalable too, you can, in theory, add them ad infinitum and the game will be mostly playable. You cannot, for example, keep adding new characters.
Yeah, definitely not.
In games like Dota and Overwatch, uh, there are an extreme amount of characters. I wouldn't say too much because if you're someone who is playing one of those games full time basically, then it is totally fine. But again, there is this conflict of interests at the very core.
Guy looking through the window. I really need to get a fucking plugin to filter out those messages if this is gonna continue. Thank you, Lizard.
Here's like, how do you even word it to make sense? While it would be nice to receive Valve-made content 18 years after the game's release, I think it is okay. It is okay to expect a game this old to be on maintenance.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, bots were bad. That was terrible, and they should have fixed it long ago.
If we do receive
But
any
now,
new Valve content, it's gotta be like a major passion project.
yeah, but how do I put it? I do not.
I think the bot fix was a passion project.
Yeah.
That's the most depressing thing. I don't think I should be putting any more money into this game. Of course I'm gonna keep playing it because I love it, but like, that's extremely depressing.
Like, you can always... There is always something to ask for. There is always ways to improve the game, but...
Oh, shit.
And it would be nice if the game would be improved, but I think demanding constant updates beyond keeping the game functional is... no, that it's reasonable, but No. I think it is reasonable to expect a game this old to be on maintenance and consider it fine. As long as that maintenance is done properly.
Valve takes like
But on-
ages to do things, but historically they do maintain their shit.
And if you think of it, the seasonal updates are basically like major updates in most of the ways.
They're major updates without any Valve-made content or like the traditional like web page that I used to really look forward to,
Yeah,
which
I
really
think the
sucks.
one,
But like it's you know.
I think the only real thing missing is hype.
Contracts.
They're new. Like, it's something that came out with Jungle Inferno, and we obviously had other major updates before that. You could argue that a major update should have not just new content, but new types of content. Like, for example, we used to not have war paints,
That's true.
but one of the updates has added them. We used to not have MVM, and then we had an update that added one. But even then, we used to not have VSH in the official capacity.
That's true. It's
So
kind of crazy
you-
that like some of these updates that just add like maps and stuff, just you know every Halloween, summer, Christmas, whatever. They just drop a whole new game mode and shitload of maps, and there's no like web page with fancy visuals to advertise it. It's just added mall. Like, okay, what is that? And then you go into the game and fucking Saxton Hale is there. It's like, okay, that's new. Like, well, okay, that would have been a better example if I would have said like Tiny Rock, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Like, again, we used to have major updates made out of high tower skins. And
That's
harvest
true. Reskins used to be like just as good as like a new map, but now people hate them.
Yeah, and people sometimes make an argument, like Valve should add less maps because they should focus on quality over quantity. But have you seen the workshop? There's enough both quality and quantity.
Yeah, there's a lot they could pick from.
Yeah, you could totally make updates 3 times the size and you would still not incorporate all of the good content added.
Okay, just had to double check something.
I mean, the thing is,
how could people look at content in other games and feel underwhelmed by this one? Like, other games are like a 300 gigabyte install, and then there's like 3 maps or something. This game is like a not even 30 gigabytes, and there's like 200 maps or whatever, and there's weapons and hats and whatever.
I am like people in chat mentioned the bias that the Valve made content is just inherently superior somehow, and I am failing. Like,
Sometimes
I kinda understand, but by any objective criteria, it does not. I would even argue that some of the community members are like they have spent way more time in this game than the developers.
Probably, yeah.
So some of
well,
some
not
of them,
probably, like absolutely.
some of the community people no TF2 better than Valve. And because these days some of the maps are made by pretty much indie teams at this point, they are also on par with Valve in terms of custom stuff.
I tried. No, motherfucker! The Blute Sauger was one of the first weapons they added. I don't even know what the order of weapons was. I'm not, like, familiar enough with the lore. By the time I started playing, a lot of the stuff was already added. Like, late 2012. Like, everything's already in the game, pretty much. That's a fucking spy. Everyone keeps fucking dodging my arrows. The old panic attack was a piece of shit. It really was just like the sneeze gun, but a shotgun, and like the spread getting worse the less health you had was so bad.
At least it had its unique at least it had its unique identity.
It did. It definitely did. There we go. We did it. And now I've got a I almost said weapon. I got a map from August 101. This is TCAD August 101 72 24 A2A Blue, which is definitely a map name, which I assume is not final. This game has many shit weapons. I want the sneeze gun back. Well, we already have the sneeze rocket launcher. And that one's pretty good, I think. I use it in MVM sometimes. I should use it more times than just sometimes, if I'm being honest. I'm calling this one August. Don't like that name. Oh, it's got a Christmas tree. Oh, it's got several Christmas trees. And the doors don't open in setup because it's like territorial control and the fucking plugin doesn't know how to handle the logic. That's funny. That door had a Luxel scale of 1. I'm pretty sure that's a prop. Yeah, that's a prop. Those are like, that's vertex. No, that's not even, because that would be a static prop if that was vertex lighting. I'm not even sure what's going on there.
Mission begins in 60 seconds.
Hey guys, Merry Christmas.
Mission begins in 30 seconds. Mission begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This map is so choke heavy.
That was my Uber.
Oh no. Oh yeah, red is attacking and blue is defending. Dan just pointed that out. August, I'm so sorry. That was probably painful to witness. I didn't realize that was... I always fucking forget that your Twitch name is that, even though it literally has August in it. That's a spy. Can you fucking
For
kill this guy?
VSH,
There we go.
maybe for VSH I should simply make a SDK modification and then try to pitch it to Valve for the custom HUD.
Oh, like an official like thing that you can pull from like for HUD assets instead of having to piggyback on PD.
Yes.
So this is a Halloween map.
I probably should ask Valve first before actually spending time doing this.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Unfortunately, that's going to work only for VSH because that's already featured in the game.
No,
For VIP, deathmatch, and other stuff, I will have to do player destruction stuff.
I saw that update added like a flag to hide the match status HUD. I know what that's for.
Yeah, I've been pestering Valve with that change for months at this point.
There's a demo on a roof shooting stickies on the entire map. Well, you know how it be. Oh, there's a displacement seam, literally unplayable. I'm kidding, of course. Well, not kidding about the seam, but kidding about the unplayable part. You know what I mean.
Thanks, mate.
What I mean to say is it's not a big deal, but just that it's
Hey.
there, so you know where it is.
Aaron, look at me. Above you.
Oh. What the fuck? Wait, are you on the other... Oh, no, you're on my team. I didn't see the name pop up for a second, and I was confused.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, I'm gonna get flogged in a second somehow. They already had... No, never mind, that's just regular Uber. I thought it was... Alright. I'm Gonna be all over you like Pringles. Displacement seemed visible. Guards, seize him.
Alert. Our control point is being captured. You failed.
That's the way you do it.
We're gonna do a scramble.
Mission begin 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's even this out. Team scramble.
What's up with the first point? Why is it already capped? I think this is attack defend. I don't know why TC is in the map file name.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
Yeah, honestly, I should just, like, bind those to a key, but my biggest concern is, like, accidentally hitting them and then fucking over the whole round.
Mission begins in 10 seconds.
Should skip after, like, 2 more rounds if blue doesn't win. Got it.
2, 1.
I'm gonna be distracted by this guy and get killed by something else. Okay.
TTV R. Williams gaming. Here he comes. The best demo man ever.
The fuck? What is happening here? There's probably like an area portal that's fucked up. I like the spiked candy canes. That's neat.
All your dandies prancing about.
If only I could aim, that'd be cool. Okay. I like the auto-join mechanic that doesn't work. I don't think this is auto-join fucking up. I think people are just like spamming the connect command. Because I have a, like, it's a 32 player server, but I have it like locked to 24.
Run, everyone. John to Hill 2 is gonna tell you Spy has a gun.
Spy has a gun?
Yeah, that's dank.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's several. I had the Blutsauger talking about that earlier. Oh, hey, you made it. And now I pray that blue
What's
is
the point
able
of
to
all these,
win.
like, converging paths.
To get to the point.
Mission begins in 60 seconds.
I personally want to see this map as a complete territorial control map.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
Medic, arrow me, please. Thank you.
Mission begins in 10 seconds.
Thanks, mate. Boom!
5, 4,
Got booted out despite still being in the server.
1.
Nice shot.
I do appreciate the, like, attempt to make the geometry this interesting. Well, not really an attempt. Like, you did make the geometry interesting. It's not an attempt. Where are the stickies coming from? Like, up here. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Doc.
Nice.
Fire! Fire! Fire!
Team. Where are the teleporter takers? I want some teleporter takers in chat instead of
Still
whatever
got you.
that was.
That's a fucking spy.
Yeah, now you're just gonna be stuck there. I really like how this map has like zero playtesting.
Scott's was in playtesting, and you're the playtester. What are you talking about?
Well, I'm playtesting it and it sucks.
Wow. We're playtesting. I didn't know that.
Stand on the bloody point, you half-wit!
Couldn't even tell if that was a real man.
So, if I understand this right, at the end of the round, it's going to stalemate and not be a blue victory?
I'll be a blue victory.
Well, it'll say stalemate.
No, it'll win its blue.
You think people would like this map if it was art passed?
No. I think even if this was our pass, this would be yeah.
Well, see, that's the fun part. That's why we're playtesting it that way. The map maker can be actually improve on the map.
No fucking way. You mean
You can't improve on
it's
garbage.
supposed to be helpful? I can't believe these lazy sloppers, these woke sloppers are trying to improve their work.
I think Diva Dan should have stopped up here.
Yeah.
Plant yourself on the point, mister. Get going.
The control point is being
I think, and I'm not like a great level designer myself, but I think the main issue with this map, for me at least, is like I think it should be a lot longer, and the spaces should be a lot less choky and cramped.
And it just has really bad flow. The best route to get is really this. Often best to take the way forward.
But also I voted for McCain, so don't take my word for it.
Yo, I got fucking launched! Holy shit! I know, Wendy. Good job.
mission ends in 30 seconds.
The best way to attack is to rock and jump.
Mission ends in 10 seconds.
Is that a real man? I think so.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alert. The control point is being captured.
Something about the idea or the presence of explosive classes being able to jump up onto a point and like attack sentries from afar. Something about that interests me, but I don't know how that's going to be done in like an actual map.
What interests me is the fact that the end of round is broken.
Oh yeah. What didn't August test this? The blue team can't.
I don't know why this is broken. I feel like it should just work.
I'm confused why like Halloween mode is on, but it's like a Christmas map.
It's only this way for blue's side.
What?
Alright, well, I will switch to Emergent. I apologize.
Okay, I'm starting to...
I wonder what Valve were thinking when they invented.
That's very
Great
interesting.
Pumpkin.
I'm sorry, I kind of cut you off. When you wonder what Valve was thinking when they invented, what was that?
Great pumpkins.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I feel actually when I was developing Outburst, the Underworld VSH map, the question I had, like, I felt like the map could use a third type of pickups. That's not ammo or health. But I couldn't come up with a good idea. Spells? They don't really work in VSH.
Competition begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3.
At one point, I was considering the idea of... You know how in some maps, in some games, you can freeze to death and you have to get into hot places to reset your coldness timer? I was thinking about doing the same, but in reverse, where the hell is so hot that you will simply burn to death eventually, and you had to either swim in water or pick up special water power-ups to cool yourself. But I don't think it would be any fun.
Ah.
back off of that for a minute.
That Big John.
What the? Okay.
Oh yeah, that's the gun is the worst part about him right now. The sound it makes.
I'm kind of mentally ill and I kind of like it.
Zero base to it.
Well, it's supposed to be like typewriter sound effects. But I do agree. It doesn't sound like a gun.
Yeah. I see the vision.
I'm weird and I like it. But I'm also other people don't like it.
Yeah, I recorded it.
But Wendy has also not implemented the new sounds yet, so. I was hoping his voice lines would have like a couple like in here in the day my daughter's wedding. Tony. That type shit.
Yeah, the accent.
Coughing gun. Imagine making a map or a mode like this so you can make the sounds anything you want. Oh, okay, so that's what that was response to. Well, that's initially why I started messing with maps, just to replace things.
No way, I found a fucking hat.
That's kind of how reskins happen. Yep, that is how Evil Homer was born. I found out why blue overtime breaks. Due to the nature of the logic, I needed a way to set a hidden control point between owners, and VScript was the easiest way to do it, but I hard-coded it to always assume red starts first, and didn't make it actually check dynamically. Ah, okay, so it was like a script thing. That explains it. Well, that's good to know. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to test that for longer. I also apologize for the harsh words by the people here. Explain these nuts. It sounds like these nuts, meaning these testicles. And it's, the humor is derived from that.
You gotta stay alive. You're our overtime mechanic.
Oh no.
No.
You failed.
Look into power of spy. Being able to insta-kill big guy.
Get over here.
What if your balls hit a genie and you've just never rubbed them hard enough for the genie to come out? That merits testing. Remember to rub your balls for the genie to come out. The weenie genie.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
This map is like... It's an alpha. That's already, like,
Remember,
beautiful.
folks, the weenie genie is not real. It cannot hurt you.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
Ooh.
Who is the guy on embargo? Who is doing the offensive accent? Was that you?
If someone tells me that one more time, I'm going to fucking lose it.
I think I have told you this before. Like, to you.
I think with a name like that, you can't take that guy seriously.
I only mildly dislike them.
Well, the stickies sticking to the door is a little bit of a problem. Just a little bit. It just looks a little funny.
The more I realize that embargo was a mistake.
You think so?
I think more moderation needs to be happening on this server.
Trolled my friend.
I did do it, Wendy. I'm saying that I genuinely do not like when people recognize me. Because it's always, oh fuck you, you're the racist guy.
Just this one.
Was there a reason to do an ethnic accent on that map?
Because it's in Latin America.
Well then what's with that girl?
I mean, that was the character, that's what they paid me for, so I mean...
Alert. The control point is being captured. Time has been added.
I deliberately programmed the mobster in a way that his voice lines are extra loud. Not in terms of literal loudness, but you can hear him from further away than a normal character.
Ah, okay. So they'd, like, I would assume that they don't play from a sound script, or is it still sound script based?
It's no longer sound script because in an ironic twist, sound scripts are more hard coded than literal code.
That's really funny.
Because if you're the server owner, you have ways to modify vscript on the fly, but you cannot modify the sound scripts on the fly.
That's a good point. I had not considered that you might even, like, need to do that.
Yeah, there are people who host VSH, for example, with their own custom rebalance modifications to it.
Like the vscript version?
Yes.
The fuck? Not sure why, but okay.
Well, for example...
Not really for us to discern.
Well, yeah, I guess each to their own.
Yeah.
You can't really satisfy everyone. One point of contention that is never going to be universally resolved is Hale's Brave Jump and ways to mitigate this jump spam.
Yeah.
Because the cooldown, while it does the job, it also makes playing as Hale way less fun.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Hey, Scotsman. I haven't seen you in like 10 million years. What's up? Also, on the bright side, this is a full server with mobster shit happening.
I am glad that the mobster has managed to be an interesting character despite sticking to the TF2's normal formula of primary, secondary, melee.
It's interesting that you were able to, like, develop a whole character and it just kind of works.
Yeah. Barely. There are so many ways that there's so many things that had to happen to make custom characters possible, and without just one of them, it wouldn't be.
The screw hit my eye with a blunt sight. What the fuck? What did I miss? Almost take my eye out with a screw today? Jesus Christ. How did that happen? I'm gonna die to this. Yeah, that sound is definitely not final. Fucking gotta reload. Ghost Rider, that's horrible. The drill was being used elsewhere and I was setting up with a hammer. Jesus. Well, you gotta be careful. I'm sorry I'm not giving much commentary, I'm just trying to, like, focus on not dying. Thought I got stuck. V-physics is weird. It's insane how many, like, systems are working at the same time in this game.
When the mobster was first made, his secondary weapon was a giant revolver that deals a ton of damage, but despite that, nobody was really using it.
Yeah, I could understand that.
On top of that, we have realized that the mobster needs a sandwich type thing. But we couldn't make it a literal sandwich. People mentioned the health bar above the mobster's head, and I'm not sure what to do with it because it definitely improves the gameplay. By the way, the enemy team also can see the health bar, but it feels odd to have this in TF2.
If only it could be stylized a little bit more. I don't know, like, if there was a way to repurpose the, like, intel timer or something as a health bar, but then that might look a little bit weird. I don't know. It's hard to say.
We could stylize, but I can't think of a way to make it look good while still being the health bar behind his head, above his head.
God, I keep trying to cap and forgetting I need the big man. That's a spy. There we go. For Lizard, you could make it a big cannoli to fit the Italian mobster aesthetic. That sounds like a... Oh, the lunchbox item. I think he means that, like, he knew he needed one, so he made the money bag.
Yeah. And it also doubles down as a team thing. The thing that helps your team.
Make it similar
So
to the
you are
health
no
cross
long-
icon already used for health. I think, if possible, that would probably be the best way to do it.
I will try to put his health on the HUD instead of the head. So ideally I would want to combine the compass that points to the mobster and put the health bar inside the compass.
That is a good idea.
Unfortunately, this will not work on DirectX 8.
Man, I wish they would just deprecate it already. I mean, I understand that they don't want to, just because it's been in use for so long and people like the look of it or whatever. But honestly, it's like a long time coming.
The issue, as I see it, is not the people who intentionally choose to use DirectX 8, but those who don't know any better, who just googled a performance config and saw one that happened to use DirectX 8, and that was which one was released 15 years ago.
Yeah, nobody knows. It's basically like placebo at this point. I'm surprised that they didn't discontinue it when like skins and competitive and stuff came out. Because they made it a requirement for competitive, and skins and stuff don't work without it.
I think you can't even, like, you need to add an obscure parameter to your game launch options to enable DirectX 8.
That's correct. It's like the classic DX level 81. For some reason, I thought I was in spawn already, but I wasn't. Maybe these test maps should have some different color for inside the spawn rooms. I mean, there are depth textures for red and blue, and generally that is what they're supposed to be used for. Maybe it was just like an oversight or something. Or maybe that respawn room is repurposed for something else later. I could be wrong. I don't want to assume. I thought there was like a meeting of the minds happening. Oh, there's a... I should've... If I would've looked up, I would've seen it, but TF2 players don't look up, as we all are very aware of. Do you think they will make this sequel for Tomodachi Life and Switch 2? Probably not. I think everyone's just gonna get shot. Actually, I don't know. I mean, like, there's... People are kind of demanding it now, right? And the original's getting expensive, which is shitty. I feel like they might do it. I don't know if they're trying to move away from Mii's or not. I definitely wouldn't. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna backtrack on what I was about to say. I'm not extremely interested, but I hope for, like, all the bajillion people I see every day begging for it, that they do make it. Because I genuinely think it would sell.
Follow me. Go. Mission ends in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Why are people RTVing?
Gentlemen, this never happened.
Where's the man?
You failed.
There's the man. There it goes.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Metopia sold less than expected.
Defend our control points. Prepare to defend our
Why don't people like it? I like it. Feedback is important.
begins in 60 seconds.
I forgot to... Zyth was looking for a name for his map earlier, and I totally forgot to put the form in chat.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
Alright, Hardy. Teleport. I'm afraid not. Now. Let's put a sentry right here. We got ourselves a rat. Hold on, you wankers. Gonna meet me a teleporter right here.
Mission begins in 10 seconds.
Teleport here. Now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I got too close.
We got a spy. Thanks, Pally. He's over there, boys.
Is there no teleporter, or am I crazy? I think I just might be crazy.
Alert. Our control point has been captured. Time has been added.
Directly in front of me.
I think my soldier called out a spy to the mobster, even though I'm on red. If only I could aim. There he goes.
Guys, I smell a rat.
Our control point has been captured. Well done.
I'm all loaded up to
Oh, come on. I don't know what to do with this spy on this game mode. He is extremely strong. Stronger than I would like him to be.
Don't like this spawn room. Yeah, it's really tough to... I really don't envy your position. It's hard to take away Spy's ability to, like, backstab someone, because that's, you know, core to the Spy. I feel like doing that makes the Spy not the Spy.
Yes.
4, 3, 2, 1. Prepare to attack the enemy's control points. Prepare to attack the enemy's control points. Mission.
I'm gonna find out what the name of the fucking Scramble plugin is and disable it, because we are trying to test this map. Or, not the Scramble, the RTV plugin.
We have tried to make mobster backstab resistant so that it would take spy 3 stabs to kill the mobster, usually 2 because mobster is rarely at full HP, and players universally hated it.
Spy needs to have his backstab range get nerfed. I don't even think that's possible.
Mission begins in 10 seconds.
I mean, if it is possible, it's probably not going to be intuitive.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Maybe something to the effect that he has in VSH, where it does a ton of damage without killing outright, and also disables the dagger for a bit. Also try something like the backstab slows him down or messes with his movement in some way. I still feel like that wouldn't be satisfying enough. Because, like, this guy isn't as strong as Hale.
Yeah, and also, Hale is the only person on his team. While if you try to stop the VIP, you still have 11 teammates to worry about.
Nice shot.
Oh, was that a headshot?
Yeah, it was. It was miserable for Spy to backstab the VIP and then get shot down as he has to solve the remainder of the 250 HP with a revolver versus the Tommy gun. Talking about a previous version, I would assume. Oh, motherfucker, I canceled his fucking...
And we also have the other VIP, which is the civilian with only 175 health. He does not look like someone who would survive a backstab. The question was whether I'm still working on gun game. The answer is I plan to release an update in late April for both gun game and deathmatch. It's actually interesting that people talk about gun game but not deathmatch, while I think the latter is a bigger thing. I would say I'm even confused why.
I think gun game is more interesting because that was like original. Well, technically original.
Doubt many people played Open Fortress who was playing either of the two Viscrim game modes.
I'm just gonna fucking scramble.
I have a feeling that's simply by chance, because gun game was released first. Simply because of that, people know that gun game exists, but deathmatch kinda...
That's also fair.
Like, it was overshadowed by the thing that was first.
Mission begins in 30 seconds.
Let's waste them. Let's get them. Oh my god. Let's waste them.
So, going back to backstabs. In VSH, the non-lethal backstab works because as a spy, you can survive the aftermath. But in VIP, both the VIP himself and his 11 teammates are well capable of destroying a spy after he reveals himself.
Alert. Our control point is being captured. Alert. Our control point is being captured. You failed. Prepare to attack the enemy's control points. Mission begins in 60 seconds.
Was silent. Yeah, I was alt tabbed. Apologies.
So, one of the other ways to deal with spies is that the mobster automatically plays the spy line if there's a spy nearby, but people also do not like this. They say it is very forced.
Much appreciated.
Oh my god. Big streamer, man, doesn't have second monitor to do stuff on. I mean, it would be nice, but I really don't have the desk space. I also don't feel like it's entirely necessary.
I have 3 monitors and I think it's the bare minimum.
I mean, I gotta keep my graphics card as light of a load as possible, you know? I've only got such a weak 3080. Can't handle anything. Can barely handle Team Fortress 2, you know? That game's a graphical powerhouse. feel like for streaming, you could justify having at least 2. Yeah, I definitely could. I just, like, don't have the desk space. So that's why I don't. That's the biggest reason. Like, if I had the desk space, I would just do it. Could I make the desk space? Probably, but I would have to, like, move a whole bunch of shit. And then I would have a whole bunch of shit on the floor, and it would be horrible. Yeah, I've got, like, an iPad mini for Twitch chat, and it's, like, the worst because it's from, like, 2010 or something. I can't remember. I don't need anything more, though, because it's literally just, like, looking at a web page. I missed. Could hang the monitor above the one on the desk. God, that would look so bad. I can't even do that. Like, I built an extension to my desk that goes, like, above to put more shit there. So there's stuff on the sides and above, and one monitor is all I can do. Okay. I killed myself. I gotta save the man. There's a spy. I died. Alright, I don't know how long I've been playing this map. Let's try one more.
Prepare to defend our control points.
I will not stand for losing.
Mission begins in 60 seconds. Mission begins in 30 seconds.
I think Jonto Hill might be the first Australian on the server. If I recall correctly, he's from Australia. I wouldn't know. That would be interesting if he is, because I would expect the ping to be much worse. That's honestly kind of surprising.
Begins in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Alright, I'm gonna die. There it is. I got the reserved shooter. Alright, now there's 2 of them for some reason.
Gonna need me a distractor right here. Gonna need me a teleporter right here.
Alert. The control point is being contested.
I'm so sorry, Octo. You ever wonder about internet connection on remote islands like Easter Island? Imagine all the civilization and electricity, but no connection to downloadable porn. I'd just imagine that internet is like everywhere at this point. It's because of like cellular, but they do have to like build towers and shit. No, not cellular. I mean like satellite. That's what I meant to say. Satellite's not the best, obviously, but like it can get you there. Not for games, but you know, just to get data across. Oh, he knocked me into the fucking water. That's funny.
The control point is being contested. You failed.
Maybe I should have a command that makes everyone the mobster.
I think that would be best for game balance.
Prepare to attack the enemy.
And it looks like that is the end. Thank y'all for playing the video game. We've tested levels. We laughed. We cried. There was a Family Guy. Yeah, that's about all I got there. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I got demos. I got map data to send to the authors. And, I guess that's about all that we can ask for, you know? So, again, that much is much appreciated. So, thank you again. And I guess, with that said, I will be rating Stabby, because Stabby seems to, like, always be live when I end stream for whatever reason. So I guess I'll just do it. Alright, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful birthday.